Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I forgot how to podcast now. And welcome back to the Timers podcast here today. And it's Wrestlemania time. This back again in 2021. And we're finally gonna have a crowd. And who better to talk about wrestling on the Timers podcast than with my favorite blind friend, it's Mr. John Cook.
Hello, and may I say, ladies and gentlemen, seems a little presumptive, but sorry if we're about to be podcast bombed. By the way, somebody's just come in through the back door as I'm talking, so if you hear a voice, that's somebody who doesn't realise that we're podcasting.
How are you, though, mate? You're right. How are you dealing with this world that we currently live in?
Yeah, I'm okay. I've got my first. I've had my first COVID-19 vaccination. So yeah, I'm doing all right. I am now, of course, immune from COVID-19. However, that doesn't mean that I can't catch WrestleMania fever.
Absolutely. By the way, what do you think of my rendition of that great WrestleMania song?
I've heard worse.
I'll take it. If you guys don't know, John occasionally. And we're off. Where do we go from here? Right, so before we get into WrestleMania, things like that, obviously, John, I don't know about yourself, but we talk about gaming a lot here. Have you had a chance to play the Doctor Who game on mobile? Were you able to access that one at all, or was it a bit difficult?
I've not actually tried the Weeping Angels one yet, to be honest. I downloaded it, I pre-ordered it, I downloaded it. I've not actually given it a go. I know people that finished it in the space of about 2 hours, so spacing that out quite nicely. I mean, the interesting one is obviously they were also talking about the Doctor Who Switch game being released in spring 2021, which is where we are now, and we don't seem to have a date for that yet.
So nor a trailer, really, nor pre-order, no nothing. I mean, look, I'm all about games being, put back if then that means they can be improved, so that when they've arrived, we don't have to wait like a week for a patch to fix everything. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm all about, because I remember my friend got Days Gone, I think, last year, and that was horrendous on day one, which I think is actually the PlayStation Plus pre-order game or free game, whatever it is that you get this month. So but yeah, I'm excited for that Doctor Who game whenever we get it, a console Doctor Who game. Fingers crossed it's good.
Yeah. I mean, it's looking. I'm optimistic for you. I mean, exactly the same boat as you. I'm in no rush. There's plenty of games out there to play. There's plenty of other ways to access Doctor Who content. So if it means that actually they're ironing out glitches and making it the best product possible, that's really important, and that's brilliant, because I'm totally with you. Games released with glitches is always really problematic. I know there was a case in the run up to Christmas where I think Sony actually pulled something from their sort of digital releases because actually no, that
I think it was Microsoft, wasn't it?
It was Cyberpunk.
Yeah, it was Microsoft and Cyberpunk.
So they actually pulled that, but I mean, I'm kind of, I can kind of tolerate stuff at times, but it's kind of, I think it's about to what degree those glitches kind of break your immersive experience, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Because sometimes they can be entertaining as well. Sometimes they are just funny ones.
They can, if you're spending like 50, 60 quid on a game, you kind of want it to work.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember the big thing with WWE 2K20. I mean, I didn't get it because I've had a massive problem with the 2K franchise for a while now, and it just being done every year. But I remember my friend getting that, and it was awful. Like, it wouldn't work. It glitches all over the show, and that's why obviously they didn't do one last year, because
they kind of tweak things up a little bit with Battlegrounds, which actually works quite nicely as a product. It's a fun little game. In my view, WWE games haven't the peak of WWE games was SmackDown Here Comes the Pain in 2003. I remember distinctly Brock Lesnar being on the cover of that one, and it just being absolute kick-ass.
Yeah. For me, it was SmackDown vs. Raw 2011. It was the first ever wrestling game I played. It was just like when I first got into wrestling, and it was crazy. It was also a really, really varied game because not only I think I was the introduction of Universe mode, but you also still had the road to WrestleManias. I think that's really what the WWE games are missing, just that variety, because I don't mind the sports simulator style. I think it creates more good wrestling for you to play. I don't mind the wild and wacky stuff either. I mean, I rather enjoy Battlegrounds myself. But like they need to bring back the creator stories. I'm not a huge fan of the showcases because it's just playing through moments in history, and like that's not interesting to me. I want to play a new story. That's more interesting than playing through all of Daniel Bryan's matches or even the Women's Revolution, which I think was what it was in 2K.
There is nothing better, and I wish I still had the time to do things like this. There is nothing better than making a roster of 30 of your mates and then just creating a story where everybody's cussing each other's mums and beating each other up.
Yeah. I remember when I was like...
And I wasn't doing that as a kid, by the way. I was doing that in my early 30s.
I mean, why not? I mean, yeah, so that's exactly it. We just need that. I think because in terms of how the game plays, I know 2K19 was very good, but they've got the style down right. It's just missing a lot. Like universe mode is very, very bland. Like I would change out universe mode. I would change universe mode for GM mode, and then I would just bring back the create a story option because then you can do whatever you like. I think that's the much better way of doing it.
Yeah, literally put yourself into that WWE universe. Give yourself your own feuds. Give yourself your own storylines. Just that full autonomy. You can get open world in so many different types of games now. Let's actually have that in a wrestling game.
Yeah, I think that's what we need because especially with the create a story option, with the community creations tab, people could create some really good stories for you to play to as well, and that would just keep the game fresh. Like 2K wouldn't even have to bother about updating it too much, to be honest, because there's some great people out there and they could really utilize community creations for just the fans to create their own really good stories.
I think there might be some. I mean, it's speculation to agree, but I think there might be some. I think the reason that WWE could have pulled back on that a little bit could be around intellectual property and stuff. Obviously, they're quite important. That the image of their brand is very important to them. So I think they probably don't like the idea of their product being used to create lots of stories over which they have absolutely no influence or control.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean,
and I can see why there'd be concerns about that, particularly for a family-orientated organization. Totally.
Yeah, true. I suppose that's why they put the age up on the games, though, don't they? Because the games are still like 16, Peggy 16 or some stuff. So
yeah,
I suppose which is kind of interesting considering they're still a PG product, but they don't have a game for kids. I suppose Battlegrounds was that. I don't think it was that high age rating, was it?
Can't think. I mean, it's not particularly violent, to be honest. It's more cartoonish violence, which I mean some people would say is more dangerous, but I think in terms of age ratings, it probably would knock the age rating down a little bit.
Exactly. But shall we just get into this, because there is a lot of wrestling to discuss this time around. There was 2 nights,
2 whole nights
at Raymond James Stadium. Vince McMahon is...
Have we decided yet which of us is going to be Hulk Hogan and which is going to be Titus O'Neil, by the way?
I probably Titus.
Right, fair enough. I can see the... I can see the logic, brother.
But no, Hall of Famer Titus O'Neil has been announced today or yesterday, I think.
Oh,
he's going to be getting the Warrior Awards, which is really good because he's a legend anyway, all the stuff he does.
Oh, brilliant! See, I have no objection to Hall of Famers being announced now. For years, whenever a Hall of Famer was announced, I was like, how can that person go into the Hall of Fame when the British Bulldog isn't in there? Now that the British Bulldog's in there, I'm happy for anybody to join the Hall of Fame.
Was the British Bulldog announced, was he?
That was last year, mate.
Oh, was it?
He was the big name for last year, although, but obviously they didn't actually have the ceremony, did they?
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought they didn't put any of them in.
No, they did.
Because Batista's still not in it, and he was announced, right? Because Batista's still not a Hall of Famer.
Must have still been put. No, I'm
They
sure they
didn't.
must have been put it.
They didn't do it. They didn't do it. They were going to get Batista. They didn't put any of them
Well,
in.
why would
They
not just start with the people that they were going to put in last year then?
I don't know, but yeah, the British Bulldog.
Well,
I
in
don't
that
think.
case, like in that case, how can Titus O'Neil be put into the Hall of Fame when the British Bulldog isn't in there?
He's in the Warrior Award section, which obviously isn't for.
How can everybody? How can Eric Bischoff? How can Molly Holly? How can everybody that has been put into the Hall of Fame this year be put in there when the British Bulldog is not yet in there?
I will.
I mean, they must be doubling up the ceremony and inducting everybody from last year as well. They wouldn't just announce all of those names and then not put them in.
No, he's still not in the Hall of Fame. I don't think. Yeah, he's not in the Hall of Fame, mate.
Shocker.
Yeah,
absolute shocker.
Look, I know why they didn't go with Batista this year because they want to do it in front of a crowd, and this is still in the. I think this is in the Tropicana Field Thunderdome that they're doing the Hall of Fame ceremony. But yeah, so Titus O'Neil, WWE Hall of Famer, British Bulldog or not. Shocking.
I mean, what? They have to serve some plan though for the people that they announced last year.
Yep.
I'm very confused by that. I'm very confused by that.
Welcome to Vince McMahon land. He'll go, it's all about the hype. We got to get them grip for the Hall of Fame.
God knows.
Yes. Right, before we get into the actual card, do you want to talk about the matches that are yet to be announced, matches we think will be announced? That's sort of...
Yeah, sure. Let's go.
I think the obligatory men's and women's battle royal will be announced. I think they'll do one on one night, one on the other. I think that's probably the way forward. In terms of who wins, I would say who needs it, but these matches have sort of become pointless now, so we could just throw a random name, and if they win, it doesn't make a difference. Who would you like to see win the men's battle royal, John?
I'm trying to think who hasn't been matched up. I think for those that don't yet have matches, King Corbin's probably quite a shout.
Yeah, two-time winner he would be. Two-time winner.
Ray would be a big crowd.
Dominic.
Yeah.
Big boost for Dominic, and yeah, I mean, yeah, that's good for me. I'd also say, obviously, it wouldn't happen. I'd love to see someone like a Cedric Alexander, who, unfortunately, the Hurt Business now broken up. Would be a really good boost for him to go out and win. I mean, I've been a big fan of him anyway. And Noam Dar. Reginald. Noam Dar. Is he still employed, Noam Dar? I hope so. He might not be, actually. But I don't remember him being cut. I hope he hasn't been cut because I like Noam Dar. I liked him ever since he was on Independent. So he won't win it, but that's what I'd like to see win it. Michael Cole would be funny. Let Michael Cole win it. What about Hulk Hogan, brother?
I mean, Battle Royal with some 24/7 shenanigans in the middle of it, just like they did with the Women's World Rumble.
Yes,
it would be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, your new 24/7 champion and WWE Men's Battle Royal winner, Hardcore Holly.
Oh God, Jesus, Santina Morella.
The Cobra.
And the Women's Battle Royal.
I think there's a lot
Bayley.
more. There's a lot more to be done. I would say that, but I'm sure they're going to find something else for Bayley to do.
What? Unless she randomly tags in the tag team title match.
I just.
There's nowhere for her to fit, is there?
I mean, she would be perfect to host it. And you've got Titus, great. Why not Titus and Bayley?
Yeah.
Why do we have to drag out the 60-year-old racist?
Oh, I've just realised Hulk's hosting with them. Oh God.
You've only just realised that. That was literally my first thought when I saw who was hosting this.
Poor Titus O'Neil, because I remember his apology as well, which they filmed. I remember him going to the locker room and he goes, Hey guys, I'm sorry I got caught being racist on camera. It won't be on camera ever again. And it was like,
Oh,
oh,
so when nobody's watching, then Holster. That's cool.
and because I know the new dad, I think Xavier Woods got really passive aggressive on Twitter or something. But yeah, well, no, I was going to say Omar to win the battle royal, but he's in the tag team
No,
title match.
he's
We got on
actually
too
got a
late.
match. Yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
big, I like.
a mate of mine has actually been blocked on Twitter by Hulk Hogan for calling Hulk Hogan a racist. Which is
He's spitting facts.
it's a good effort. It's a good effort.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and then there's what you mentioned, a women's tag team title match, which I think will get added. Unfortunately, I can't really think of any legitimate teams. So, any ideas?
I mean, has Lana had her shot yet?
Nope.
There you go.
With who does she? Who she?
Shayna and Nia against Lana and Naomi because they were tagging for a little while, weren't
Oh, I just still go. Who cares? Shayna Baszler deserves better. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Shayna Baszler deserves a lot better.
they? Yeah, and I mean they need to. I mean they've teased it a little bit. They need to split that tag team up.
Oh, Christ,
You know, they need to split that tag team up. They need to let Nia and Reginald go away and do their whole inverted Mark Henry Mae Young thing.
Yep. Yep.
Give Shayna, you know, because Shayna is a legitimate badass, and
Of course, yeah.
she is wasted in that division.
Exactly. So I'll give the win to Lana and Naomi for that, just so they can break up. Poor old Reginald's gonna get destroyed if they do that. Reginald's gonna get like booted in the face by Shayna or something.
He
Poor
will
old
get
Reggie.
booted. He will get booted in the face by Shayna, but then he'll get some makeup sex with Nia. So it'll just be a bad night for him all round, really.
Disappointing in the ring, disappointing in bed. They're the same thing.
Disappointing in the ring and possibly disappointing in the ring again. Who knows? Oh my hole.
Right, let's talk about some surprise.
This has taken a laddish turn already, hasn't it? We're not even in the match yet.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about some surprises. So John Cena says he will not be there. I highly doubt. I think he will be there in some capacity. It's John Cena.
Yeah, it's John Cena. He's going to show up somehow.
Probably to interrupt Elias's show again, just because that would be any segment with John Cena and Elias is hilarious. So I'll take it.
I mean, he could come out and rap with Bad Bunny.
Oh, fuck. Oh, they're gonna do that, aren't they? They're gonna do that, aren't they? Bad Bunny's gonna win at WrestleMania, and you were word live. It's your basic ergonomics. Oh no!
You can't see me. I wouldn't mind that. I mean, we'll get onto the card.
John Cena will make it good.
We'll get onto the card, but for me, that's one of the lowlights of the card. So I wouldn't mind Cena involvement in that.
Yeah,
because I think that'd make it actually appealing to me. Whereas at the moment, that's where I've got circled off for a little nap on the Saturday night.
Yep. I'm also gonna say, for me, I think I think Ric Flair could show up still because he always shows up, even though Charlotte won't be on the show. Even in the Battle Royal, nothing. She will not be competing because of the Andrade drama at the minute. So yeah, they kind of have stopped her wrestling. But yeah, Ric Flair can show up. Triple H could show up. Undertaker could show up. I will be severe. I know he's retired or whatever, but no one believes that, right? He's going to retire in front of fans, surely.
Yeah, I mean, to have the opportunity of one last goodbye at WrestleMania in front of fans, not in a match type capacity, but just to come out and actually get the ovation that he deserves for 30 years of service to this company. Yeah, he's going to be there somewhere.
Yeah, I think that was the big thing about his goodbye, and also his goodbye was really strange. Everyone did their entrances and then just left.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see him featuring in a match. If he were to, it'd probably be the Fiend Randy match. But I don't see it. I think he'll get his own moment.
No, yeah, I think so. Obviously, let's just say it for the views. CM Punk. Well, no, he's not shit.
It's going to happen one day.
Is it? Do you think? Do you think? Are you there? Are you there thinking that? I don't think will. You know, I think
2 years ago, we wouldn't have seen him working with a company again.
fair. Yeah, fair point.
You know,
I mean, I'd love it.
One day.
I'd love him to, but I want him to come back before Daniel Bryan leaves, so he can at least have that match one last time. That would be my dream. Also,
we've got
yeah,
episodes. We've got 2 episodes of SmackDown to go. There's still time for that to be a fatal 4-way.
Imagine that. Roman Reigns be like, come the fuck on. Not only was I the best champion this year, now the feud isn't even about me anymore, really. It's like, come on. But yeah, I'd also say Brock Lesnar, because it's Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I mean, he is, again, that's somebody else who clearly they are holding on to until they can get them in front of a crowd. Could that crowd be at Raymond James Stadium? Very possibly. I've got a rough idea where he could show up if he were to.
Yep.
But I think I'll save that for when we're talking later on the card.
And also the man behind you, Stone Cold.
Oh, I thought you meant Sparky for a second there.
We can't see Sparky, but Sparky will be at WrestleMania for sure.
Yeah, Stone Cold. There's always room for Stone Cold.
Even The Rock. The Rock.
You know, we all remember. Was it 35 when the Hulkster, Rocky, and Stone Cold all came out?
That was 30.
Well, yeah. That was like 7 years ago.
Yeah, it was just before Triple H and Daniel Bryan. Yeah, it was the start of that. Because he said, we're in the Silver Dome, brother.
Yeah, where Hulk Hogan completely forgot where he was.
Yeah, that was WrestleMania 30, man.
Wow.
That was when Cesaro won the original one to the Jump Memorial Battle Royal, man.
Blimey. I mean, I just feel old now.
I do. That was my first ever WrestleMania live. I remember watching that one.
The first time little Alex was old enough to stay up for WrestleMania.
No, because I remember it was the first time I was able to ever afford pay-per-view because we didn't have the network yet, and they were literally slamming it down your throat. But we didn't get the network until like maybe 2015, I think, just before Mania 31. Yeah, but I think that's virtually everyone covered. I mean, someone else will pop up and we'll be like, "Oh, why didn't we think of them?" But in terms of like the big surprise, I think that'll be it. Should we get into the card? We'll do all the night one matches first because WWE.com have announced all the matches so far. I will say we are recording this on Thursday, April 1st. So there are some matches that aren't announced yet, or that you said could be on the card. They actually end up being on the card.
We've still got an episode of Raw, an episode of NXT, and 2 episodes of SmackDown to go.
Absolutely. Right. So night one will start. Well, it says not the correct order, but night one will begin. Hang on, where are we? Where's it? Where do we cap the different days off? Sorry, mate. It's been a pain in the bum.
I'm literally on Wikipedia, which has capped the days off.
Oh no, I got it. Sorry, my bad. So the first night one match here at the bottom of the card is the Raw Tag Team Championship match between Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, the New Day versus AJ Styles and Omos. Big up Omos. I thought it was Omos, but it turns out it's Omos, even though there's not an A there. But look, this is Omos's debut. In ring, right? I'm not wrong in that. Very similar to one former New Day.
I think it is in ring debut. I don't think he's had an official match yet. We actually heard him speak last week. So you know, he's
big man of mass. I'm gonna go with the New Day win this one. And I'm gonna go with, this is my bold prediction. Mass joins the New Day. That's the third member. I legitimately think that might happen.
Okay, I'm going the other way on this. I'm going the other way on this. I like the AJ and Omos relationship. I think that actually them as tag champs will do something for the belts. So yeah, I'm going to go the other way on this, but I don't think it would necessarily be the end of the feud. I think there's a bit of mileage in that feud.
If AJ and Omos win, this will be a squash match, I think. But if it goes the other way, it'll be like a hard fought battle for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, the way they've built Omos, I mean, that's part of the reason why I'm kind of saying that I'm going that way, because the way they've built Omos up, you would expect him to win his first few matches.
Yeah.
That they're not going to build that character up and then have him lose. I'm now being presented with dog toys.
There you go. I mean, that's the important thing. You get tag team title matches, you get dog toys. Right, let's get this one out of the way very quickly, John. Bad Bunny versus The Miz. Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny ain't losing. He's the greatest wrestler of all time, John. Bad Bunny. Grammy Award winning Bad Bunny.
I have zero. As we've already established, I have zero interest in this match. I have no idea who or what Bad Bunny is. I'd never heard of him before.
He's which is interesting because I said the same thing. And he is the 8th most listened to artist in the world, and I've never heard of him, which is crazy. But evidently very light.
The world's a big place with a lot of people in it.
Exactly.
Quite clearly, significant number of those people don't have a great amount of taste.
What are you saying, man? Booker T is a slap tune.
I'm not necessarily linking that to the success of Bad Bunny. Yep. I've not heard enough of this chap's oeuvre to pass a judgment upon his ability as a musician.
Yep.
But I don't have a huge amount of interest in this match.
No.
There's always like a bit of a sort of celebrity tie-in match somewhere at Mania.
Well, we're getting 2 this year. So
yeah, I mean, this is clearly one that's a bit like.
Yeah, this is one where the actual celebrity is wrestling, and it's come to mixed results. Honestly, like the big other celebrity WrestleMania match, I suppose, was Lawrence Taylor in the main event, I believe, of WrestleMania 8 against Bam Bam Bigelow. Which yeah. So will this be on the level of that? But there's going to be.
I think that was 11.
Oh, was it 11? I was too early.
Yeah, 95.
There we go. Yeah, I do think this one's gonna have a lot more outside shenanigans with Damian Priest and Morrison. I don't think it's gonna be a clean one-on-one fight.
Yeah, I mean, I like Miz Morrison.
I just feel bad for the Miz. I forget like a month ago he was winning the championship, like he was the top dog, and he's been screwed over. He's not. He got a rematch on Raw and lost. Like, I'm not complaining about Bobby being champion. I think Bobby's great, and we'll get onto that in a minute, but. Honestly, when I saw this with that, because we were watching that pay-per-view, and you called it. You said it. You said it to me in messages, like before the show. You were like, "We're gonna get a Miz cash in tonight," and I was like, "I did." Obviously, I didn't disagree. I was like, "Oh, okay, interesting," but I didn't really think about it. And then
in the space of 6 weeks, you'll have gone from WWE champion to losing to Bad Bunny.
Oh man, Christ! So yeah, Bad Bunny for the win.
Yeah. I mean, it says something that's possibly not actually the match that I'm least enthusiastic about on the first night.
Is it not?
Not.
Could it be this one? A steel cage match between Braun Strowman, the Stupid Express, and the completely correct Shane McMahon. The heel in this storyline is correct.
How did you guess?
Right, can we just say as well, right? Shane McMahon, the character, is completely correct about Braun Strowman in this. Like, I meant to feel bad for Braun, but Braun is an idiot. Like every time Sean's thwarted him and got him to do dumb shit.
I just want an added. Obviously, we've got the steel cage match now. I just want an added stipulation on Monday night on Raw that if Braun loses, he has to change his wrestling nickname to the Stupid Express Braun Strowman.
I mean, because I remember me and you reviewing the Royal Rumble a few like in January now, which is crazy. We're in April, jeez. But I remember us going, nobody wanted Braun Strowman at 30. Like nobody was like, yay. We were all like, yay, Seth, yay, Christian. And then oh.
that that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
The stuff they're doing with him, they should have been putting a belt on him 3 years ago when he was huge. Yeah. They had countless opportunities to do that, and they didn't do it.
Exactly, and I think,
and I feel sorry for the guy. It's not his fault.
No,
but
because he's very talented.
Creative missed their opportunity with him, and
Absolutely.
by the time they actually gave him the belt, which let's face it, wasn't the big idea or wasn't the plan, but they had to do something. So by the time they actually gave him the belt, his momentum had gone.
Yeah, and I think as well, it's the effect of they just brand him terribly. So like before the Strowman Express, he was the monster in the bank instead of Money in the Bank, they call it the monster, which is dumb. Then he's been put in some really bad feuds. He had a feud with Sami Zayn, and look, Sami Zayn's great, and this is when Sami Zayn was babyface. So we'll get to Sami Zayn's story, which is one that I think has been fantastic. But I feel bad for the man because it's not his fault, but he's just boring now. Like we're done with Strowman. He's boring because the issue is Strowman's got one mode as a character, which is I'm big and I want to hurt you. Get these hands. No thanks, mate.
I'd rather you keep your hands to yourself. Thank you very much.
Especially during a pandemic. Thank you very much. But yeah, the bad thing is, like I said, is that Shane is entirely right. It's the heel, the bully, is entirely right about Braun Strowman.
Yeah,
like everything he has said, Braun has fell for. And like Shane's charismatic as hell. So I've always been a big fan of Shane, heel or babyface. I think he's hilarious, and I can't wait to see what he does in the cage. It's a shame that with it being a steel cage match, he probably won't jump off the big boat in the stadium, but there's still a chance. We're gonna get some.
I mean, he's going to be jumping off of that cage, and he is going to be jumping off of that cage. Yeah. I just wish it was against somebody that I could be interested in.
Yeah, and like
I don't have a problem with this feud, to be honest. As I say, I think it's Shane that's made it work.
Yeah, and I'm going to go Braun Strowman for the win here, which is unfortunate because Shane's been the MVP of the feud.
Yeah. I think on reflection, I'm probably a little bit more enthusiastic about this than I am the Bad Money match. So,
I hope so, because at least it's got two wrestlers. I mean, I know Shane's not a wrestler, but,
Shane's always good for a spot.
He's always good for a spot too.
Shane's always good for a spot.
I do remember.
It's going to be exciting when you see Shane.
I do remember. I think it was WrestleMania 33. He generally had that Mania match with AJ Styles, which was very good, like a very good match with AJ Styles and himself. I think it was 33. The one at a Citrus Bowl, or which is always a great venue. Right, next up on night one, an actual, hopefully just a very, very good match. Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. I'm so happy because, believe it or not, and you might not believe this, John, this is Cesaro's first ever one-on-one match at WrestleMania.
I'm not surprised. I'm really looking forward to this one as well, and I think this is where having the split over 2 nights works, because I think if it was all on one night on a 6-hour show, this would get lost somewhere in the card and it'd be a bit of a filler match. Whereas on a sort of standard 6 or 7 matches in a night, it's going to get the time it deserves. I've really enjoyed this feud. I like the little tweaks to Seth's character. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this match.
Me too, and I'm very happy they've actually started to push Cesaro, because let's be honest, he should have been a main champ by now. Like, he is that quality. The fans really love him still, even when he's a heel. The fans love him. Him and Sheamus, and I really rate Sheamus as well, made the Bar one of the best tag teams of the past decade. It's pretty tight. And then you have Seth Rollins, who is one of the most liked heels of all time. They don't like him when he's a babyface, but when he's a heel, he's just incredibly entertaining. and I really like it. So I'm excited for this match. Seth has come back on fire. Great match with Shinsuke Nakamura, which was fabulous. I think it was at Fastlane, wasn't it? Like every pay per view kind of rolls into one though because it's all in the Thunderdome. So I forget.
Yeah, it was a Fastlane. Yeah, I think they've had a couple of SmackDown matches as well, but it was a Fastlane. Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go.
But yeah,
I'm gonna go with Cesaro for the surprise upset win here. I hope that's just a hope. I want Cesaro to win a match.
yeah, I think I tend to agree with you actually. I'm going to go with Cesaro here as well. And hopefully it will be the catalyst to push him onto bigger things. I think we might see a brand switch for him.
Yep.
Because we'll come on to where I think we're going with the title matches, but I think if he's going to push up to main event status, there's probably more room for him on the Raw side of things than there is on SmackDown.
I would agree, but also disagree. I think either way he'll do quite well. I don't.
I'm deliberately being a little bit cagey in what I say there, but it will become clear what I mean once we go through the title matches.
Yeah. Then also here's our two main singles title matches. We'll start actually with the WWE Championship match because we know what the main event of that one will be, which will not be this match, but Drew McIntyre challenging for the WWE Championship finally in front of fans versus Bobby Lashley. Surely Drew's winning this one just outright because he deserves to get a title win in front of fans.
Now.
Oh, you going the other way?
I'm going the other way.
Wow. Wow.
I'm going the other way. This is Bobby Lashley's first WWE title. He's had the belt for like 4 weeks. He's a freaking powerhouse of a champion.
I agree.
I think it really weakens his character if he drops the belt after a month. I think that there are ways that Drew can lose this match and not lose any momentum and move on to other things.
Yep.
I think if Lashley loses this match, he loses some momentum.
Yep.
I also think the fact that it's not the main event makes it less crucial that Drew's going to win. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to see Drew win this match. I agree completely that he deserves a title win in front of fans. I don't doubt that in time he's going to get that. I just feel that at the moment, if they were going to give the belt to Lashley only for him to drop it back at Mania, they wouldn't have gone through the whole thing of having Miz as a transitional champ. You only have a transitional champ if you're actually going to go between two slightly significant reigns.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's going to be a great match, but I think Bobby's just going to take it. And this is this is kind of what I was saying with Cesaro as well. I think they're going to need more
Cesaro versus Bobby. Cesaro versus Bobby.
More faces to be coming over to Raw to main event, because in terms of faces, all you really got is Drew.
Riddle, I suppose, but he's a heel in my head.
All you really got is Drew.
Yeah, Drew. Who was in the Elimination Chamber for Raw again? Was there one? No.
There was, because Drew retained, didn't he? Drew, Miz was in there.
Wasn't in it. No, he wasn't. He was in. No, he cashed in.
He gave up his slot.
He cashed in. Yeah.
Yeah, he gave up his spot.
Was it Morrison?
Morrison was definitely in there.
Strowman, I think. Was Strowman in it? Probably.
No. Sheamus.
Yeah, Sheamus.
Sheamus was in there.
Goes to get the Google out.
AJ.
Yep.
AJ was in there because
Kofi.
Yep. But this is the thing. This is why they need more and more main event faces.
Well, isn't there a draft coming up soon after Mania? I think.
Yeah.
All right. So
It's not
the Rumble.
it's not-
I forgot this. The Chamber was Drew, Sheamus, Kofi, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, and Jeff Hardy. I don't remember Jeff Hardy making that match at all.
Exactly. We need main event faces on Raw.
Yep.
And that's where I'm saying I think Cesaro wins and I think he jumps brands. I can see him challenging Bobby Lashley over the coming months.
Yeah, I gonna go with Drew here, just because I think they want that visual, and Mania is all about the visuals.
Yeah,
I understand. I'm a big fan of Bobby, and I think Bobby is champion.
I want it to. I want it to. But the fact that we know it's not the main event,
yeah,
and the fact that Bobby is really bossing it at the moment.
Yeah,
I
I
just think they'll go the other way.
If Bobby wins,
maybe further down the line at SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Rumble or Mania next year, we'll see Drew win the title in front of a bigger crowd.
Let's hope so.
Jesus Christ, Rocky.
Right. Oh dear. Right. I'm just gonna say if Bobby wins, I guarantee you they'll. You're right there, mate. Farting in the middle of the podcast. That's never happened before.
Silent but violent, dog. Silent but violent.
That's all new. I'm gonna say that if Bobby Lashley does win this match, I think they're gonna wait until Keith Lee is back from injury, and then Keith Lee will be the one to dethrone Bobby Lashley.
Possibly.
Right. And the main event of the first evening, and a deserved one at that. This is an interesting one because it's sort of like pick your favorites. I think they're still both baby faces. I think. Sasha Banks, women's champion, versus Bianca Belair, two of the strongest characters in the women's division, two of the biggest egos in the women's division. Going heads. And look, I think this one is pick your favorite. Essentially, I am going to go with Bianca winning. I think that visual of Bianca Belair winning at Mania, I think it's going to be done. Look, John, it hurts me because I don't mean you big Sasha fans, but it's Bianca's time.
I think Bianca's going to win as well. I don't entirely agree that they're necessarily both faces.
You think Sasha's heel now?
There's been some definite heel traits in Sasha over the last couple of weeks that have, there's been a bit more pushiness in her promos. There's been a very subtle change.
Do you think that's just for this match though, and like it'll be the sort of thing about the end? She'll raise Bianca's arm.
I think that's why it's subtle. I think that's why it's subtle. I think they've done it very subtly in order to push Bianca as the face for this match. Once it's done, Sasha's face persona isn't hurt. I tend to agree that Bianca's going to win it.
Yeah, I think that essentially this whole thing has been these two strong. That's why they didn't win the tag team titles, because they're too strong. Personalities that just didn't click, and it's been leading to this thing that's been building and brewing. And I think, like you said, I think Bianca will win. I think we're going to end night one with the visual of Sasha raising Bianca's arm as the new women's champion. And Bianca deserves it because she's freaking awesome, and I think she'll kill it as the.
Yeah, she's great, absolutely great.
So yeah, I think that's the way we're going to go. I would say out of the two cards, night one is weaker. I think they've done that on purpose, though.
Absolutely. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I looked at the cards, and night two was the one that I was significantly looking forward to more.
Which, to be fair, is
even with the match that they've added to it this week, I'm still looking forward to it more.
Which, to be fair, is the way forward. And there is, I believe, 5 matches on each so far. No, 6 on night one.
6 on each.
There's only 5 announced on WWE.com on the website for night 2, but there is 6 on night 1.
I'm sure there's 6 on night 2 because
Right. Well,
have you got Riddle and Sheamus down for night?
the ones on night 2. I have the Universal Championship, Fiend Randy Orton in the Continental, United States, and Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. That's 5. Is there one? Is there another one on Wikipedia?
What are we missing? Owens, Zayn,
Got
Riddle,
that.
Sheamus,
Got
Big
that.
E, Apollo,
Got that.
Fiend, Randy,
Got that.
Asuka, Rika.
Don't have that on here, but that will be on there.
I've got that down here.
They haven't got that. They haven't got that on the .coms. Well, shall we go from one women's title match to the next? First of all,
we know that's going to be happening because we had the
Yeah.
contract signing on Monday night, didn't we?
Yeah. So WWE.com haven't updated that, which is silly.
Shocking.
But yeah. So Asuka and Rhea Ripley. I have a massive problem with the storyline, which is Rhea just asked for a title shot. Asuka was like, "Yep." When there are people on the Raw brand who, no offense to Rhea Ripley, I'm not annoyed at Rhea Ripley, but deserve it more. Like Peyton Royce. And
Peyton got a shot.
Yeah, but even so, man, like you can't just come. I know it's a thing in wrestling.
I don't get me wrong. I love Peyton.
I'm not, like I said, I've not got a problem with the match. I've just got a problem with the story. Like the story is just Rhea asked for a title shot. Asuka says yes, match is made. Like because in some storylines, the JM will go, "You can't just ask for a title match. That's not how you get a title match." And then in this storyline, it's like, "Yep, cool."
She asked for a title shot off the back of finishing second in the Royal Rumble. So it's not like she's just some rando that's turned up and asked for it. She's been NXT champ. She's been bossing NXT for a couple of years, and she came bloody close to winning the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, no, I suppose. Like I said, I've got no problem with the match.
Matches get made at an absolute whim sometimes. Sometimes it just happens because Vince McMahon says so. So
especially in the WWE.
I've no problem with somebody asking for a title match and the champion then going, "Yeah, right,
let's go."
It's not like anybody. They've kind of done the thing where Shayna and Nia came out on Raw this week and made that point.
Yep.
And it's like, well, actually, you've both had title shots and didn't win the title.
Yeah, like I said, I've got no problem with Rhea Ripley. I think she's sick. I hope she wins this year because she shouldn't have lost last year.
I think she will. I think she will. No offense to Asuka as well at all, but
Asuka's held it since Money in the Bank, right?
This hasn't been the best title reign.
Did she because she won the Money in the Bank contract ladder match, then Becky got pregnant, and has she been champion for that long?
Yeah, she's been champion for that long.
What has she done?
But it's not exactly been memorable, has it?
I can't even remember a match she's had.
Yeah, it's not exactly been memorable. So I love Asuka. She's a great performer, great wrestler. This title reign has not been booked great at all. There's been a real lack of momentum for the title. The problem's been with the booking rather than her. She played second fiddle to Charlotte Flair and Ric Flair and Lacey Evans' love triangle.
And then when Rick thought he made a baby in storyline, he was like, "Woo!"
It's just
woo. I love that little dance he did
giving the belt to Rhea. Hopefully, gives it a new lease of life. And I think she does. After what happened at Mania last year, I think she does deserve it.
Absolutely, and I do remember a comment and message I got from a viewer called Tyler, who asked my quick opinions on the nights of NXT Takeover. So I'll quickly give them now before we properly go into night 2. I never did one match, but I thought let's do that because that's what I was meant to do, and I forgot. So I apologize. So I'll quickly do that now. I know you don't watch NXT, do you, John?
Sporadically, so I don't really know what's on the card for this one. I might watch it, but I don't really know.
It's 2 nights, baby.
Oh gosh.
So here we go. NXT Stand and Deliver. Okay, so night 1 is the NXT Women's title match, Io Shirai versus Raquel Gonzalez. I only know Io Shirai, so I'm going to say Io Shirai. Hang on. I need to watch night one for this match. NXT UK Championship match, Walter versus Tommaso Ciampa. Woo!
Wow.
Like that.
Okay.
What the? Yeah, no. Okay.
So when is that happening? This weekend then?
April 7th.
Oh,
Wednesday.
right, okay.
It's the same week. We got a fucking week of wrestling.
Oh, wow.
Woo! Wednesday 7th, Walter versus Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa? Maybe Walter could easily win it, but
yeah.
Okay, this is gonna be nothing to me. But the NXT Tag Team Championship Triple Threat, MSK, whoever they are, Grizzle Young Vets. I know what's his name? The guy from Liverpool. Chris. Can't think of his name.
Paul McCartney.
Yeah, Paul McCartney. No,
Robbie Fowler.
Yeah. Jamie Carragher, no. Versus Legado del Fantasma. I'll go for Grizzle Young Vets on that one. And then a gauntlet eliminator for opportunity at the NXT North American title for night 2. Oh, okay. So this one feeds into night 2. And it's someone called Isaiah Swerve Scott. No idea. Leon Ruff, Bronson Reed, Cameron Grimes, Dexter Loomis, and LA Knight. Who are those people?
I'm going to go Bronson Reed because he sounds hard.
I'll go Cameron Grimes.
Although I find it interesting that on SmackDown last week, your GM said it wouldn't be fair to have somebody compete one night and then the following night. They don't have any problem with that on NXT.
It's because William Regal's British, isn't it? He don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And then finally,
Andy's a bloody nice bloke as well, actually.
Yeah, this match excites me as well because Kushida versus Pete Dunne, both two incredible wrestlers. I love Pete Dunne, love Kushida. If you don't know anything about Kushida, John, he's a wrestler who dresses up like Mike McFly from Back to the Future, and he's sick.
These are people that I heard of, yes. But thanks for telling me where Marty McFly's from. Because I've only seen that film about 24 times.
It's the best film ever made. So, I'll go Pete Dunne on that one just because Pete Dunne and he's hard. Night 2 on the Thursday, right? So we got the ladder match for the undisputed Cruiserweight Championship. Oh yeah, because Jordan Devlin won it, the Irish guy, but then he had to go home for COVID. So this is between Santos Escobar and Jordan Devlin. I'm going to go Jordan Devlin because he's from the UK. Big up the UK. This one excites me. NXT Women's Tag Team Championship. There's NXT Women's Tag. What? What? I thought it was like a women's title thing. Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon. I know who they are. Versus The Way. I'll go with the two people I know. So Shotzi Black. I need to watch more NXT. That's what
that's probably, to be fair, that's probably a better women's tag division than actually mainline WWE have got.
Yep. And then the North American Championship, Johnny Gargano versus the winner of night 1. So I'll go with the winner of the gauntlet. This one excites me. Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole because the Undisputed Era are no more. So we get an unsanctioned match between the two of them.
Ooh, no more.
So
and the Undisputed Era.
Yes. And then Finn Balor versus Karrion Kross. I'll go Finn Balor because I like him as well.
I like him as well, actually. I'd very much like to see him. I'd very much like to see him retain, but Kross is a machine.
Yeah. I will be
because I remember seeing remember seeing him in TNA as Killer Kross. It was absolutely monster of a man.
Yeah, I am gonna have to watch these shows. I know you've got work that week. You're probably gonna have to miss these, but I will let you know if there are any highlights.
Yeah, I'm not sure that my body clock can sustain me staying up watching wrestling Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday nights.
I'm definitely going to try and stay up for the UK title match on night 1 because Walter versus Tommaso Ciampa sounds.
Yeah, you're a
tasty.
student. You're a student. It's what you guys do.
Walter, I remember reading that and going, Walter versus Tommaso Ciampa. Ooh, my ears have perked. Right, let's go quickly to night 2. I say quickly, it's the whole reading the podcast. Let's go to night 2 of WrestleMania. We've already talked about the women's match. Let's get the shit one out of the way. Heel Riddle versus the biggest babyface in the game, Sheamus. So
for those listening, I have placed I've placed my fingers across my forehead. I had a little bet with your host just before we started as to how long it would be into the podcast before I referred to Riddle as a cunt. We're about 58, 57 minutes into recording this. I'm sorry, but I think Riddle's a cunt.
I'm with you.
I cannot. Right. Okay. Firstly, the short shorts. He just reminds me of fucking Sagat off of Street Fighter. And for those who are not familiar with Street Fighter, Sagat was a bald dude that wore an eye patch. For those that cannot see me, I am a bald dude with one eye. I have issues with anybody that reminds me of Sagat. And the bro, and riding around on fucking scooters backstage. It's just a massive. He's like a bloody daddy long legs dangling down to the ring, fapping around, and then somehow winning. Like when when like a gust of wind could blow him over. Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, but no.
I'm with you.
I would love to see my boy Sheamus win this.
Yep. Before and also, can we just talk about how underrated Sheamus is?
I don't think WWE are going to go that way, unfortunately, but I would love to see my boy Sheamus win this.
First of all, Sheamus, I love Sheamus. I always have. I think I was one of the only people. I mean, while I suppose I was a kid, and I thought it was like real. I believed in the storylines. When he was babyface, World Heavyweight Champ, I loved it in 2012. I thought he was great. I've always liked his sarcasm, I suppose, because I'm from England and it translates quite well over here. So when he's like being all sarcastic and stuff, it's rather funny compared to people in the US who don't know what sarcasm is. No offense, it's true. But yeah, no, I really like Sheamus. He had that really, really dark patch after the bar where he sort of did nothing for a while. But since he's become this like bar fighter, the whole stuff with Drew, that match at Fastlane, by the way, was so much better than it had any right to be be honest.
Yeah, that was great. It's brilliant. Yeah, and now here 4 weeks later, facing bloody Riddle.
Gonna lose to Riddle. I mean, look, if he was to win, I wouldn't hate it because he needs a belt, and I wouldn't. Yeah. And do you know what? I'd love Sheamus to win the belt actually, and him and Drew fight over the US title for a bit. That'd be great. I wouldn't mind that. But it's not going to happen. So I'm going to go for my heart with Sheamus. So I'm going to pick Sheamus.
I'd love to see it.
But Riddle's winning.
Yeah, I'd love to see it, but I can't see how it's going to happen.
Nope.
For some reason, they seem to see something in Riddle that we don't. I don't
because he's popular. Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
How?
I don't know. He just is. So yeah.
I mean, he has a very good surname because I don't understand. But
oh. There you go. Right, let's talk.
Your name's Frederick.
I guess it's a whole podcast. Like, oh, this whole YouTube video, just Trump having a go at Riddle, and I would post that. Just a stand-up session.
I'm literally just looking through. I'm literally just looking through his Wikipedia here, trying to find things that I can. Oh, black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Maybe I should be nice. I don't know, but I don't get it.
Me neither. Me neither. Right. Let's move on to a mid card, which a title match, which actually has a lot of potential and a new character that I am loving. Big E, the Intercontinental Champion, taking on the brand new Apollo Crews, and this has been incredible.
Oh, I love Apollo.
He's gonna win it.
Apollo's new gimmick. He is gonna win this title.
And do you know what?
I love his new gimmick. I think it's brilliant.
But kind of says what I love Big E. Big E should be fighting for that main belt at some point. He is incredible as well.
This is a step towards him doing that.
Yeah, Big E is superb, but Apollo needs to win this to get the character. For the character to be golden, he needs to win it. And you know what? He should. People find the accent. I've been saying that people want to like leave the business because of the accent. Look, it's wrestling. It's character based. It's not. You know, it's not wrong. It's an impression. You know, he's not overdoing it. He's just changed his voice slightly to fit the character. I'm completely fine with it. I think it makes him more dangerous. I think he's been incredible. I've liked the story of him being this nice guy, but then doesn't get anything for it. So he's had to go to this darker path rather than turning heel for some like arbitrary reason. This time the heel turn makes sense. He's like, there's no more Mr. Nice Guy. I need to win titles. I've been here for too long and got nothing. And I think he's going to win it at Mania.
It would be a problem if it was like a white guy doing it. Yeah, that would absolutely be a problem. It's not. You know, I really don't. I'm with you on that. I don't have a problem with the accent. So, you know,
and he is from Nigerian roots as well. So it's not like they're making it up.
It's not like he's appropriating anything. It's not like he's appropriating anything. You know, they're just built on an element of his existing character and an element of his existing persona. You know, so no problem with that at all. Who knows? We might find a way of replacing the tripping over meme.
Yep. Who knows, eh? We might do. But yeah, I'm fully behind Apollo here. I think him and Big E are gonna have an absolute storm of a match. Yeah, these two hate each other, and I think they're gonna burn it down.
Feud. It's been a really well booked, well written feud, and I think we're gonna get the correct outcome here, which is gonna be Apollo winning the belt. You know, because actually, Big E as Intercontinental Champ, it's fine, it's great. Everybody knows that he's destined for bigger things. Everybody knows that he should be challenging for main event titles.
Oh, yeah.
And so this is always going to come across as a bit of a stepping stone. The way that they've tweaked Apollo's character and the way they've done this storyline, winning this belt means the world to him. So it will give a lot of status and importance to the IC title to have Apollo wearing it with pride. You know, and it's also really nice to have a heel character that isn't like a kind of sneaky, cheaty heel.
Yeah, it's just a very dickish up himself sort of.
Yeah.
You know,
because I think sometimes
he's a violent heel.
Sometimes we fall into that kind of trap where, your heels have got to be cheats. Your heels have got to be sneaky and win by whatever means. No, they can just be an absolute arsehole.
Yeah, and I like the fact that Apollo's character is built on real foundations. Like, they haven't had to make anything up. He hasn't had to sound crazy to turn heel. Like, what he's saying makes complete sense. He's been Mr. Nice. He didn't get those opportunities because let's be honest, everybody knew that he's incredible in the ring. Like, everyone knows, just give him the platform, he would have shined. You know, very similar to Cedric Alexander.
My dream scenario is for him to win this belt and then immediately proceed to walk off and beat the shit out of Hulk Hogan. But, I mean, we're not going to get that. But
so I'm going to quickly throw a hat in the ring for another match that could be added to the card. To make it 7 matches. I don't know what night. I'm going to assume night 2 because there's already SmackDown Tag Team title match I'm gonna go with there could be a triple threat, maybe a ladder match, because there's not a ladder match at Mania yet. They normally have to put a ladder match in there. I would be really sad if there isn't a SmackDown tag team title match, because the SmackDown tag team title picture, in terms of the teams that are there, is much more interesting than the Raw one, which is why they're about to make up a team when AJ and Omos. Plus, Dominic Mysterio deserves to win in Mania, man. Like, to see him and Ray win at Mania. Again, we're talking about WrestleMania likes to create images and moments in time.
Yeah.
What an image that is. Because I think it would be Street Profits versus Rude and Ziggler versus the Mysterios, triple threat ladder match, and I'm down for that.
Yeah, 15 years after Ray won his world title at Mania.
When did he win the custody of Dominic in the ladder? When was that? Remember that being a thing? Because Eddie Guerrero wanted to fight for the custody of Dominic. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Obviously that would have been before the world title, because the world title, he won the world title after he died.
Yeah, I know. I was just
wondering,
that had been SummerSlam
2004 or 5, I think.
Yeah. It's going to be I think that could be an incredible match. I think there does need to be a match with stipulations, because I think the only stipulation we have at the minute is steel cage, which is interesting. So it'd be nice to have another match with the stipulation on Mania. Give us the stipulations. Right, this next match I'm going to, before I get to my two most hyped matches, I'm going to go in a cinematic style match. I don't know whether it will be, because fans are here now, but there will be some cinematic or strange elements to it. I'm going to call it in a black goo match. It's not called that, but that's what Randy Orton versus The Fiend, because I'm fairly sure there'll be a lot of random black goo. I don't know who's going to win this match, because I don't know whether this will even be a match. I don't know what's going to happen. For all I know, they could go up in a pot of smoke and that'll be the end of it. It could just be literally like a segment.
I've loved this feud.
It's so dumb, but so fun.
Oh, but wrestling, wrestling generally is dumb. Let's not forget.
No, that's what I mean. It's dumb, but it's great. I'm loving it.
I've loved this feud. I've loved what the fact that Alexa's character has just been absolutely batshit.
And somehow more attractive than ever. But
the way that they've slow burned it, the way they've been for months and months.
Yeah,
I think the Fiend's going over.
Yeah,
I think it probably will be a cinematic match, because actually that really worked for the Fiend last year.
I think it'll be a mix. I think it'll be a mix. So I can see Randy getting dragged down through the ring. They're doing a bit of cinematic and then popping back in the ring again. I think that's how it'll work. But yeah, I really like this feud as well, but I don't see the Fiend winning this match. I see it being Bray Wyatt. I see the Fiend dragging Randy Orton down. They go through hell, through the fire. And then who comes out the flames after he takes off the mask? It's regular old Bray Wyatt. And yowie wowie, Bray Wyatt wins at WrestleMania, defeating Randy Orton.
Oh, well, in that case, I don't think it's going to be Bray Wyatt or The Fiend. I think it's going to be Husky Harris.
Imagine, Husky or Bray Wyatt, that regular ass, old ass, like cap, t-shirt. I can remember the Wyatt family with this shirt on, to be fair, but I haven't got the beard, so.
You could be a member of the Manson family with that shirt on. That was an open goal. Open goal. You cannot.
Yeah, well, Tottenham Hotspur would have missed it anyway. So, not
true.
A Tottenham fan. But yeah, so I don't really know how to predict this one, because the Fiend matches are sort of like, you don't know what's going to happen till it happens. I'm down for whatever. The more stupid it gets, the more I like it. Like, people that were expecting Randy Orton and Alexa Bliss to have a wrestling match obviously wasn't going to happen at all. But
that was all. That was all about the reveal of the Fiend coming back, wasn't it? It was.
Yeah, it was like, you knew that Randy Orton was going to start coughing up goo as soon as he was the first person out in the ring.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Do you think Randy Orton loves this, or do you think he hates it? Like, as in, Randy Orton himself. Do you think he loves doing this shit, or do you think he's like, come on?
I think he probably does. I think he, Randy's one of those guys. Yeah, wrestling's in his blood.
Yeah, and shouting at people on Twitter like Soulja Boy.
But he's how can we put this? He's a bit of a character, and so
Yes.
I think that actually something like this probably does appeal to him a little bit. Something that's a little bit out there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's some of the sort of stories that you hear. He may not be the nicest person in the world. Who knows? But he's been a great servant for this for the company, and he's done pretty much everything they've ever wanted him to.
Yeah.
And just about stuck within the wellness policy whilst doing it.
And shitting in people's bags.
Well, this is this is what I'm referring to in terms of he may not be the nicest person in the world.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah.
I mean, he was the MVP on wrestling Twitter about 2 weeks ago when Soldier Boy was like, "At least I'm not as fake as WWE," and he went off. Which was Soldier Boy trying to become relevant in 2021.
Yeah, I mean, Randy Orton is one guy that you do not want to turn around to and say wrestling is fake, because he will kick your ass, shit in your bag, and then call your mama and show her photos of it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I think Randy Orton, is going to lose here. I do think we're going to get a really cool RKO spot, though. I do think it's going to RKO the Fiend off something, which is what I think that's when the cinematic. Maybe he's going to RKO the Fiend off the boat. Maybe that's how this match ends. They jump off the boat together. They end up on the boat and they jump off the boat, and you're like, what the fuck? That could be how it ends.
You're loving that fucking boat, aren't you?
Because, like, if Shane's not going to go off it, surely they've got to do something with the boat. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's there, use it. Right, let's get to genuinely, if you ask me, my two hype matches for Mania. I would have said these two. Unfortunately, I have to leave the main event till last, but I'm going to talk about two of the best wrestlers going at it. But in this time, compared to normally when they've wrestled, the roles are reversed. You have got Kevin Owens taking on the man who has had a conspiracy against him this whole time. He has been telling us for weeks, nay, months, that they are trying to screw him over. And only this past week did Paul Heyman on Talking Smack reveal that there has been a conspiracy. At his side is YouTube extraordinaire Logan Paul. It's going to be Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. And boy, am I excited.
I mean, this is big for a number of reasons. The fact that Logan Paul is huge, because it actually means that Riddle's not going to be the biggest gun in the arena.
Do you know what though? The one thing is about the one thing I'll say about Logan Paul is that, unlike his brother Jake, Logan has definitely learned from his experiences. Yes, he's done wrong, but Logan's no longer the whole "yo, dude, I'm a cool YouTuber now." He's more just like a regular mellow bloke. I don't even think he posts anymore.
Okay.
I don't think he's genuinely mellowed out a lot compared to his brother, who's still a massive wank stain. So I actually give Logan Paul a lot of credit. Obviously, what he did was disgusting, but at least he's learned from it and changed up his whole deal, and that's why I'm comfortable with him being on SmackDown. I think him being at Mania is good because it brings a lot of younger eyes to the product. I don't know how
it certainly introduces a demographic that they need to attract.
At least before he came to WWE, I'd heard of Logan Paul, unlike Bad Bunny.
Yeah, but not necessarily heard from him for good reasons.
I mean, I didn't know Logan Paul about the Forest stuff till after the boxing that he did with the other YouTuber KSI. That's how I heard about him personally. And I'm a big KSI fan, so I was like, oh yeah, I'll watch KSI beat the shit out of this American bloke. And I heard he was cunt, and that made me want to see KSI beat him up more. So, but yeah, this match is going to be insane, right? I hope they don't do what they did last year with because last year I was very excited for Daniel Bryan versus Sami Zayn. And that match wasn't bad, but it wasn't the match I wanted from those two. Because essentially, in the whole time, Sami Zayn was being a chicken shit. And he was like, oh, yeah, I'm not going to wrestle you, Daniel. And Daniel hits him with one. I think Daniel tries to hit him with a knee. Cesaro and Shinsuke were part of Sami's clique at that point, and they distract Daniel, and Sami wins. I hope this is an actual match, at least for a little bit, because these two can go.
Yeah, I mean, these two guys have got a great chemistry. They've got a lot of history working together. Because they've got a great chemistry. I really like what they've done with Sami's character. And I don't mind KO being in this match. I mean, as we all know, back at Rumble time, I'd have loved to see him challenge for the belt. At Mania, it's not happened. But he's got a decent match. He's got a decent opportunity to show himself. I think I might have said to you a couple of weeks ago, how brilliant would it be if the twist was that actually there is a conspiracy against Sami Zayn and he's been right all along. You know.
And look, I love Sammy. I do prefer him as babyface just because as a genuine dude, he is so likable. Obviously, Sammy Faceria, one of the best, like one of the, he's just such a nice bloke. So I hope when they do turn him face, they let him run with it. And he's just like the most, when Daniel Bryan actually leaves, they let Sammy take up that mantle of just being like a genuinely nice dude. Because that's all Daniel Bryan is. He's just a nice guy. Like you just gravitate towards him because he's Daniel Bryan. I really hope that's what they let Sami Zayn do eventually. When that gap needs to be filled, because everyone knows Sami Zayn's just a lovely bloke. Like if you were to meet him, he just seems like the nicest guy.
Absolutely. I mean, I think we're going to see an incredible match. I'm
going to see Sammy go over. I'm seeing Sammy go over.
I'm not so sure about
that. Look, these are my two scenarios. Either Sammy wins and he's like, the conspiracy is over, or 2, KO wins and brings Sammy back to the light. Those are the 2 scenarios within my head.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not so sure about. I obviously this whole thing of the conspiracy, for it to work, for it to continue, it has to be based on Sammy losing matches.
But I sort of want it to end now, because essentially this whole story for KO is to bring Sammy back, to bring out the real Sammy again. So if KO wins and that doesn't happen, it sort of makes the story a bit crap. So for me, it's either Sammy wins and he's like, oh yeah, I won.
Yeah, I mean, it could be that during the course of the match, he kind of brings the real Sammy back. You never know. But
I really hope that's the case, because look, I love heel chicken shit Sammy, don't get me wrong, and he's really good. He's great at it because he's Sami Zayn, but having that pure babyface run with Sami Zayn again would be nice, and especially, well, with who could be Universal Champion. To have a Universal Champion between those two would be amazing. But let's talk about that now, because genuinely, this is a match that I cannot predict who's going to win, because any 3 of them could. The Universal title match, Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, and the Royal Rumble winner and rightful man in this match, Edge. Whew! I am excited.
Interesting that you say anybody could win it. Because for me, the fact they've now made it a triple threat, that's telling me that Roman's not going to retain. Yep. They've introduced a way for Roman to lose the belt without taking the pinfall.
Yep.
Without weakening his character. And I mean, yep. I know we kind of touched on this previously when we talked about the Rumble and stuff, but yep. I want to say it here and now. Roman Reigns has been the absolute MVP of WWE since August, since he came back. He has smashed it. This whole head of the table character, his mic work, they put him together with Heyman because they wanted him to work with somebody on the mic.
He doesn't need him.
And then they found him a character where he doesn't actually need Heyman.
Yeah.
He has been phenomenal. He's been brilliant week in, week out. He is so good as this heel character that actually you kind of don't want to see him lose.
He's gonna get pinned. I still think he's gonna get pinned. I don't want it to happen, but like I said, Mania is all about good guy beating bad guy. We're getting those images. Reigns is getting pinned.
When a 2-man match is turned into a triple threat, generally,
I know.
It's because you've got a monster badass in there. You want to shift the title, and you don't want them to take the fall.
I know, but we're gonna see Roman get pinned. It's the main event of WrestleMania. Fans are back in the arena. The good guy will slay the bad guy. That's what's gonna happen. I'm just saying they are going to play into the fact the crowd's back, and they're going to go back to the old times of good guy beats bad guy. That's the final image. I can tell you that.
3 guys.
Yeah, but you're not going to say a good guy pin a good guy. Look, Vince is all about these stories of.
I'm not so sure you got 2 good guys though.
Are you saying Edge is heel now? Are you saying Edge is heel?
I think you've got a good guy. I think you've got a bad guy, and I think you got a tweener.
You think Edge is tweener now?
I mean,
I
he's
still
nailing.
think.
I mean, he's nailing Brian with fucking chairs.
Yeah, true. I think. I look. I'm gonna go controversial because I think everyone thinks Edge is gonna walk away with that belt. I'm gonna D-Bry. I reckon D-Bry was gonna take away the belt.
I don't think that Edge is winning the title. I think Daniel Bryan's winning the title.
I think. I think
I think it was a lovely moment with Edge winning the Rumble. The issue that we have is if Edge wins the belt,
he won't be here.
he's going to have to be regularly appearing, regularly defending. I'm not sure that he's able to do that week in, week out.
And look, I think people want to see Daniel Bryan have a run with the belt properly.
Yeah.
As a face, because we obviously had that really good time when he kept calling the belt the Heavyweight Championship. It was all about green, and he had Eric Rowan with him for some reason.
Cool.
And it was a great run. That was a great run.
But give us one final hurrah with face Bryan.
Yeah, and I think
to be honest, I also think that this is a case of WWE listening, because a lot of people wanted Bryan to win the Royal Rumble, and when he didn't, they were quite vocal about it.
Again,
and this is a case of WWE listening and giving people what they want. I know not everybody's happy with this becoming a triple threat, because there are people out there that really wanted Edge to win this belt.
It's too old, man.
It's not going to happen.
Look, for example, that
is nothing against Adam Copeland at all. He's a lovely, lovely guy, absolute class act. I've met him, wonderful guy, but he can't cut it week in, week out. And D. Bryan's winning this belt.
Yeah, as I said, I think in the original timeline where it said that nobody cared if Dan Bryan win it, do you think Roman would have gone over at Mania, or do you think they would have given it to Edge? I reckon they would have given it to Edge. I reckon they would. But look, I think Daniel Bryan's the more interesting winner as well. No offense to Edge. I love him being back. Just the idea of that character wrestling and him getting to go out on his own terms, which I reckon next Mania will be his last Mania. But I don't want to see him with a belt. It's sort of, it's one of those things where I didn't want the Fiend with a belt because the Fiend shouldn't wrestle very often. Same reason I'm not really a massive fan of Brock Lesnar with the belt, because Brock Lesnar don't wrestle very often. I want to, and also think about the matches on SmackDown you with D-Bry as the champ, Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, KO, even like Big E, there's so many.
Reginald.
Give Reginald the belt.
D. Bryan's first defense against Reginald, the sommelier.
Yeah, the sommelier
in a wine cellar match.
Yes, but there's so much you can do. I'm all for it, mate. And I think Daniel Bryan, again, he's built himself back up again. He's got himself in this match. For him to get pinned would be, I don't know. As I said, Edge as well has been legitimately unlikable. Not obviously Adam Copeland, but Edge as a character has been like, you don't deserve to be here.
This is what I'm saying when I say I don't think we've got two faces.
Yeah.
Look, I think there is a clear baby face in this match.
Yeah, and it was for example, when I like Daniel Bryan, because Daniel Bryan's really good on the mic, right? Daniel knows what he's doing. I was calling him Brian then, which was his real name, but he for example, when he had that segment with Adam Pearce on SmackDown, he was sat in the chair, like, I'm not gonna leave. And then essentially he was like, all right then, I'll make you a deal, Adam. Night 1, somebody wins. Night 2, I'll fight him. And he goes, no, you know we can't do that. He was like, okay, but it's fine for me to literally minutes after competing in the Elimination Chamber, fight somebody. That makes you a babyface. Because you go, oh yeah, he's completely right. Because I think beforehand people thought, look, Daniel Bryan deserves it. I'm not saying Edge doesn't, because Edge man, I love him, but can he go anymore? He has a few good matches, right, with Randy Orton, because Randy Orton knows how to work around him. But to him, to him consistently having to. No, I don't want to see it, man. I'm worried for his health.
He's had his time. And as I say, he's a lovely guy, but I can't see him cutting it as a main event title holder week in, week out.
Yes, me neither. It's going to be interesting, for sure. But Daniel Bryan to win, the whole crowd going yes, yes, yes. Hopefully, he can hold it till SummerSlam and then probably lose to Brock Lesnar. When do you think Brock Lesnar's coming back? You did mention somewhere where you thought he could possibly slot in.
I thought that there was a possibility of him making an appearance on night one.
Maybe with Braun.
The Drew Lashley
match,
and it costing Drew the title. You know, it's a bit of sort of interference because obviously the last time we saw Brock, he was dropping the belt to Drew at Mania.
Yeah, totally.
It enables Drew to lose the match without losing momentum. It gives Drew somebody and something to move on to. It keeps the belt on Lashley.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think just here, by the way, I think everybody, I think me and you, this the moment we see crowds again with wrestling, I think there's gonna be a moment in our hearts as well. I think it's for everyone's morale, because I think you can agree, John. Look, WWE have done an amazing job this year. AEW have done an amazing job this year. You know, any company that's done wrestling and continued, even with the shadiness at the beginning, when it probably should have been happening in the Performance Center. And Vince McMahon, essentially, I assume, using his politics because he knew people to be able to make wrestling an essential business. But ever since they've gone to the Thunderdome, when they made that switch, they've done an incredible job.
They have done some amazing and unique things with the Thunderdome, but it's not the same as getting a crowd in place.
No, like the Royal Rumble was possibly the most un-Royal Rumble. Like, although it was a great, those two Rumbles were fantastic. It's not the same as the crowd counting down every number, and you're like,
and you know, I think they're probably getting to a point where the originality of things that they can do in the Thunderdome is running very thin. So it's probably quite well timed for people to come back.
And look, I understand week to week we're still not going to get fans just yet, and that makes entire sense. But we're getting there. Anybody who is worried about what's going on, I think WrestleMania will fill a bit of your heart up with a bit of joy and a bit of hope, because fans will be back to wrestling. I hope by SummerSlam we can get somewhere close to full capacity.
Yeah,
hopefully, fingers crossed. Because SummerSlam as the first big arena show would be incredible, and that would be like a really good. Also, Vince loves his branding, so for them to be like, come to SummerSlam, it's the first full arena show at the Staples Center or whatever, because it's probably going to be in the Staples Center. First time out of Florida. The Staples Center's not in Florida, is it? It might be. I don't know.
I have no idea.
I'm going to quickly Google it before I get shit talked. But yeah, would you say SummerSlam's a good shout for the first full arena show? August?
Potentially. I think that obviously it's 4 months away and it's maybe a little too soon to accurately be able to call where we're going to be. But yeah, potentially.
The Staples Center is in Los Angeles.
Oh, there you go. That's about as far away from Florida as you can get.
So
we're in the United States. It's the other side of the country. It's West Coast rather than East.
There you go. But John, that is WrestleMania. Unlike Royal Rumble, we will do a full podcast for WrestleMania, because there'll be 2 nights of wrestling to talk about, which I can't really justify it being a YouTube video. It'll just be a podcast in of itself, because 2 nights of wrestling, there's going to be a lot to talk about. There's probably going to be a few bits that go on. If John's willing to, obviously. I assume he will be.
I am willing to. All that I would suggest is, can we record it a couple of days after Mania, so we can incorporate the first night of Raw after Mania, which is always one of the best wrestling shows of the year.
It's always one that you stay up for. And yeah, I think I'm lucky as well that I'll still be off at uni, so I'll still be able to manage. I mean, I don't, so I'll be able to watch that live as well. 3 nights live of staying up to watch it. You won't be able to watch it live, will you? Because of work and stuff. It's gonna be the sad thing for you.
The Raw thing, probably not. No.
Sad.
I might be able to sneak in the Sunday Night Mania and just set the alarm and slime out of bed.
I feel like you have to for the second night menu, just out of fear of spoilerific, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
just out of fear of looking at Twitter and seeing the word Brian or the word Edge trending.
That's the good thing about working at home. You can literally slime out of bed, go and sit down at your table and tap away.
Yeah,
it is doable.
Yeah. It is doable. Well, John, thank you so much. We'll see you again in a couple of weeks, and then probably a couple of weeks after that for Guardians of the Galaxy. John might be here like double by that point. We might be at Guardians of the Galaxy by the time John comes around. So it could be 2 podcasts in a week again. Double John Cook. You guys loved it last time. I'm sure you'll love it again this time.
It is. Well, don't forget, kids. Drink your milk.
Don't say the word cunt.
Drink your milk. Eat your vitamins. Say your prayers.
And don't say the word cunt.
What you gonna do, brother?
When Titus O'Neill runs wild on you. We'll see you guys all soon. Bye-bye.